Good evening, everyone. Greetings. I'm Chad's taking over from Dan tonight because he's got a bit of a sniffle. I think you probably heard him last week. Got the old hay fever. So I'll be guiding you through the show tonight. Hads is not with us tonight. He's away for the evening. So Hank's guest presenter and producer tonight. Good evening, Tank.
Good evening all.
And good evening to Dan. Unfortunately, your photo's not up there, mate. So I think Tank said he's going to sort that out for the recording. Good evening, Dan. League champion,
that's
Dan.
Right, that's right. No worries. Up the Dragons. Let's go.
Who would have thought at the start of the season we'd be saying league champion, Dan?
Wow,
I think
mate,
I'd have had good money on you. You made it to the end. Well done, son.
Yeah, you would. Yeah, great to be a part of it, mate.
We've got a few things to get through tonight. We've got first of all, we've got the three final meetings of the season to review. And then we're going to look at the league table, final league table. And we're going to look at the top 20 averages of the season, the CMA, the top 20 averages CMA. We're going to go more in depth on the individual averages when we do the team reviews, which we're going to do in the coming weeks. We're going to do two teams at a time, starting from the bottom up. That'll probably be, I think we're going to start that next week. My rider of the week. And after a quick couple of minute break for you to empty your bladders and fill your drinks up, we're going to be doing the BGP final round preview and looking at the leaderboard. And then the same for the SCS preview and look at the leaderboard for that as well. And then finally, we're going to have the BLRC and the Reserve Riders Championship draws and have a quick look at the race cards. So let's start with the first meeting of last week, which was on Sunday, I believe. Yeah, Sunday. It was the Shawfield Panthers 48, Oxford Dragons 42. Quite a surprising score for most people. I don't think anyone had the Panthers winning this. The Dragons obviously were in the box seat when it came to the league title. I think a few things had to happen elsewhere for them to not win it. But I'm pretty sure up to Heat 14 they were going for it because once they knew they'd won it, I think they had to lose by 8 points and someone else, I can't remember, another team had to win. But no, they gave it their all, but the Panthers just too good on the night. I didn't ride in this one. I was refereeing or spreadsheet. I don't think you can call it refereeing anymore because you don't. Referees are a bit pointless now. Who's got their mic on?
Skyrider.
Yeah, this was a remarkable meeting for anyone who watched it because I think it was live streamed. Bewitcher doing the commentary. I didn't hear the commentary, but I heard it was quite eventful. It's a few, and Heppel jumped in and took my place in the service. I couldn't get to watch one of the races. So cheers for that, Heppel. Yeah, brilliant score for the Panthers, and there's obviously one score that stands out for me, and that is Scotty B with his 15-point maximum. I believe it is his first ever maximum in the British League. I'm sure he'll correct me on that. I can't remember him ever scoring a maximum before, and also defeating Stefan in the silver helmet by 2-0, which I don't think has never happened before. Stefan not winning a race in the silver helmet. But we're going to go over to Dan. What are your thoughts? A league title in your third season? Second season?
Third season back. Well, no, third season overall, but my first one back in like 17 seasons. I think, yeah, I rode season 4, season 5. So yeah, it's been quite a while since I rode, and I gotta say, I mean, what a night! I was literally on tenterhooks the entire way through, not knowing if I was going to get a ride. I was going to be in Heat 11 for Super Dip, but then of course, then Squall made that decision to put himself in. which kind of helped out. And then
that
Squall
5-1
just.
in Heat 10 changed his mind.
I think it did. Yeah, that Heat 10
Yeah.
5-1 definitely changed it.
Yeah.
Because it was going to be, and I think Ben Thompson was the better reserve that night for you guys. So obviously when he
Yeah.
went in, and then Squall just had to, chip in, and it worked really. Yeah, back-to-back rides, and then he won his Heat 12, a couple of Heat advantages our way, and then Heat 14 came along and said, "Right, Chester, you're in. Just win or lose, just go for it." And
Yeah, I was in the refs box, and I was just about to announce Heat 11, and Squall quickly put a message up saying that me for Super Tip. So I had to quickly change it and recopy the bit on the spreadsheet and stick it in. But I'm not surprised, to be honest with you. After
No.
that 5-1, I suppose he probably trusted himself a little bit more because I think he'd done quite well before that. Tank.
Yeah.
Is you there?
I'm here.
Tank. So what your thoughts on the Dragons? You tell me what you think, and I'm going to give you a bit of an idea what I think. What do you think about the Dragons this year?
Dragons. I think, to be honest, they looked a good side, but they got lucky in part. And this, and specifically this meeting, I think most seen it as a Dragon convincing win as well. I didn't really see that myself going into this meeting. I knew, obviously because of the recent meeting with Spartans, but also with the form, that it wasn't going to be easy going. Obviously on the night, whilst obviously racing himself and that, having a look across and that, seeing that they weren't having their own way, so that was pretty much how I saw it. But for the Dragons, yeah, I mean it's not great. Craig Hull's not had a good meeting. That's not helped. So yeah, they did what they had to do in the end.
Yeah, well,
that was the main
I'll
thing.
tell you what I'll tell you what I think. When you think about teams that won the league in previous seasons, you generally get most of the riders in the team raise their averages. This team, you had 3 riders actually put their averages and 3 raise their averages. Now the averages raised were by piddling amounts. They actually lost 3 meetings out of a 10 meeting season, which is almost a third of the meetings. Now you don't get champions losing a third of their meetings during a season. And also they got battered in the KO Cup at home to Scorchers. So like you, I think they've been quite lucky. They're lucky they had Stefan, who held them together this year, and 101, who had a good season, although his average did drop slightly by 0.21. But Dip's average went down. Apple's average went down. Tesla's average obviously went down. Squall's actually had the best seasons. He went up 0.35. So although they won the league, they obviously deserved to win the league because they were the better team in the season. I think the teams below them underperformed. Apart from the Spartans, who had a brilliant end to the season. Like I said, if they had that team at the start of the season, I think they'd be league champions. That's just my thoughts. But congratulations, they were the better team out of the 6. But would it go down as a great team? You're looking at great teams. You're looking at teams like Phoenix. Was it season 14 when I think they went unbeaten, and then the Cowboys team last year was a very good team. And you're looking at that race for the top. You had the Storm and the Warriors in season 18. Head and shoulders above the other teams. I just don't think this team will go down as a great team. But then again, they won the league, so you can only beat what's in front of you. Just my thoughts.
And it was a bit of a, and I guess this team could be compared to like an underdog, one that no one probably thought might win the league, but also didn't
Yeah.
think they would at the same time, and then they ended up winning it.
Yeah.
A bit like the
I think
Leicester City of
it's just,
SDS.
I think the teams below them sort of blew up. I mean, Scorchers looked handy at one stage, and they had a couple of poor meetings. They, drawing at Shawfield. All completely lost the plot, didn't they? Towards the end of the season, they didn't. They underperformed big time. But hey ho, is what it is. Anyway, let's go on to the second meeting, which took place on the same night. I believe started half an hour later.
Silver helmet.
Oh crikey, yeah, we haven't talked about silver helmet. We mentioned the silver helmet. You got the graphic for that? I said I watched the recordings earlier. I still haven't uploaded them because I'm trying to follow Tank's instructions how to upload recordings. And I'm about halfway through. I think I've got them into a zip file, and then I've got a little bit stuck. So I'm gonna have another go at that later, and see how we get on. Yeah, tremendous, a tremendous silver helmet. I think there was no doubt if you watch the recordings, which you obviously haven't yet because I haven't uploaded them. Scotty was never troubled in his first one. In the second one, Stefan went into the grass on the first bend. He got a ping off Scotty. It's this random gate thing which I think we talked about earlier in our pre-meeting chat, where you just get random gates and you're either going to get one or get two. And Stefan was unlucky enough to get the inside gate on both times. And I think he tried to sort of like come out a little bit and get a dive into it in his second race, and then pinged off Scotty in, and then Scotty just had to race around for the win. But no, that's a tremendous meeting for Scotty, a 15-point maximum and a 2-0 silver helmet against Stefan. You don't see that very often. Right, we can crack on with the second meeting now, which was the Somerset Spartans 46, Newcastle Wolves 44, which is a lot closer than I expected it to be, especially with the Spartans' recent form. Racer Ryan again having a bit of a strange meeting. He's had a few of these where he's not, formed as number one, and we can't not talk about Wolfie's all ride mini maximum. Not a proper maximum because it's not 5 rides, but still counts as a maximum, I suppose. Dan, what do you think about this meeting?
Well, from what I saw, in terms of the scoreline, it was a very good match. It sort of came good towards the end. For me personally, I think Owen, obviously he started slow, but then had those 3 back-to-back wins, which finished him off quite spectacularly there. And of course, a 5-1 in Heat 15 with his dad to get the point for what the Wolves needed. I think they were missing ads, and I think on a day like ads would have scored a couple of points in between, so it would have swung either way. But yeah, say great win for the Spartans. One of my former home tracks as well, back in season 4. I say you got to say Wolfie was untouchable. Do we say that he bottled Heat 15? I'd say no, because he had his reasons for going at number 2. He told me in a message we had previous, saying he wanted to ride number 2. He was finished by Heat 10, and then he was able to go off and do what he needed to do.
Curfew.
Yeah, I think definitely a curfew.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was nice to see Sizzler sort of come good towards the end of the meeting. A couple of paid wins as well. With 2 5-1s with his lad, and tack sub in Heat 12 and then Heat 15. I've been hearing a few bits and pieces here and there about the Wolves for next season, so hopefully it's not all bad news. But yeah, I mean, you got to look at Spartans as well. Effectively riding with a 6-man team, because obviously Method had three X's. So it's effectively
what happened there? Did he not turn up, or?
Well, we'll find out from Tank, because he was second top scorer in that match there. It was him and Ryan in Heat 15. So
Yeah, with Method, it
Yeah.
was a bit of breakdown in communication because Method was actually on holiday and he was actually coming back on that day, and it was just what it was. But we didn't know that at the time, so but we were confident we had enough to get through the meeting. But obviously, because the nature of two meetings being on one night, we couldn't bring anyone in. So yeah, we gave it the opportunity, but yeah, it was not ideal. But these things happen. And in terms of Wolfie and that not being in Heat 15, I would say I know it's well documented and known that he has to be off by a certain time and that. But joking aside, I think had it started earlier, I think he would have actually have been in Heat 15 instead of me.
You think?
I think so, to be honest. And Wolfie rode well all night. In general, he was helped out with Ryan's team riding, which it's well, if you're in a race with Ryan, you know he's gonna do everything he can. So that did help out Wolfie to get the maximum, but he did look quite good. Even in, I know, could say he was expected to win Heat 8, but I mean he didn't really have it his own way because Badger and I said it in 2 weeks prior, and looking at the minimum match counter, I said they're going to put Badger in the meeting to ride at Somerset because he rode there in season 18 and he'd done well. So I said we're gonna have to bear that in, and that into what we're doing, because Badger will know that track. He'll ride the line. He won't turn up and do what's been going on this season. It's a track he knows well. He rides well. I knew that, and I said just watch out for Badger because he will. And and he started well, and for the first 3 rides, I mean, just showed why he knows the track inside out. So I knew that was going to be a threat. So, and it was just getting them fine adjustments. Plus, I think in part we could have won a bit bigger, perhaps, of a score line. I think we sort of at times got in each other's way, but the racing was tight and everyone was on the line. So, and I think I didn't realise until second half of the meeting I actually faced Sizzler 3 times in the end. And I think each time I was on the outside. I think it was the second time, and I thought, oh, here we go again. I've got to get over Sizzler again, and I think I only did it once.
I think knowing, I think starting half an hour later than the Panthers Dragons meeting, I think you knew pretty much the game was up.
Yeah.
Anyway, so any chance that of anyone toppling the Dragons was pretty much gone by about halfway. Well, probably not even halfway through your meeting. Probably less than halfway through. So I think that does change the mind. That probably does change the mindset a little bit of how you're racing. But no, it looked like everyone was giving it a go. I mean, there's no one who's dropping this meeting. I mean, Owen again, superb. Obviously that last place, but apart from that, he's had a superb season. I think top of the averages as well for the Wolves, which at the start of the season with Sizzler and Powers in the side and ads, you wouldn't have bet on that, would you? But this is the Owen that we remember from like when he first came into the game, where he was beating everyone.
I would go as far as say if Ads was riding this meeting, I think we would have lost. I think we got lucky that Ads wasn't riding. Owen looked very good, and I thought he would go quite well. And
6 points from rider replacement. Yeah, he could be. You'd expect Ed to score a few more than that.
yeah, I would expect at least a minimum 9, probably could hit 10. And yeah, having it felt like deja vu as well, knowing going into Heat 15 with Sizzler and Owen, knowing exactly what they'd done in Heat 12. So, I mean, fair play, and that they had the tactics. It was good.
Wolves can't really complain about that because they've had pretty much the availability this season's been pretty good, as far as I know. I think I don't know if they've used any guests this season. I can't remember if they used any guests this season. I don't think they have. And rider replacement, not very often. They sort of tend to use the whole squad. I think Sizzler would probably be out there.
If I have a look quickly.
I think them and the Panthers have had the least guests and rider replacement this season, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong.
One guest for Badger was JC. Otherwise, there was rider replacement for Badger once and Ads twice.
It's just that. So I think you got to commend them for that, for having that's good availability. Obviously, it can't be helped when riders miss the odd meeting. Family things, work, things like that. So it can't really be helped.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think we can go leave this without talking about Paris this season. He seems to have dropped off a little bit. Don't know why. I mean, he's a 8-9 pointer most seasons, but his averages dip well below 8. So yeah, that's something needs to be discussed when we talk about the Wolves at the end of season reviews. Right, are we done with this one? Do you want to go on to the next one?
Yep.
This was the Monday match, I believe. Powder Hall Scorchers 51, Paul Cowboys 39. Really nothing in this one. I think this is why they asked me to guest. Alan was unavailable away for the weekend, so Limo asked me if I could step in, and obviously had to wait and see if I was needed for the Dragons meeting and what night it was going to be. But when the nights didn't clash, I said, yeah, I'll jump in because I do like the track. I like Powder Hall. It's one of those tracks where even if you're behind, you can make up room. Obviously, with that famous fence boost. So yeah, I jumped at it, and yeah, 7+1, probably one of my better scores this season. It looked a bit ropey, maybe first heat. I thought, well, I'm gonna, this is gonna be a bit dodgy, and only managed to get a 3-3. But then Scorchers pulled away a little bit, and then won quite handily. Dan, what do you think?
Yeah, great win for Powder Hall. Certainly one of the more convincing wins of the league matches this week. All the team chipped in. Obviously, the reserves, Tintin and yourself, Shads, were pretty much the engine room of the team that night.
I couldn't let Ivy beat me again.
Yeah, well, I said it was a great. I mean, I'm surprised that again at Yan, not scoring that many points like he normally has. And again, the Cowboys, I say 12 points to Craig, showing what he's capable of, backed up by JC. But again, it's been a bit of a up and down season for the Cowboys in general. They, going in as defending champions this year, but unfortunately just like dipping off towards the tail end, which is a real shame because they had some decent riders that were going to be, winning races and meetings for fun, but it just hasn't been for them this year. Hopefully they'll come back next season, whether it is as the Cowboys or something completely different. But yeah, great great win for the Scorchers, and they consolidate sort of top end of the table. So congratulations to them.
I think they've had a tremendous season. I mean, KO Cup and third place in the league. I mean, you'd take that at the start of the season. Lima was disappointing. I was chatting with him in a private chat when we were talking about the guest thing, and he said he was disappointed. But I said, "There's no need to be disappointed. You won the KO Cup, and you finished third in the league. So to me, that's a good season. You win make one of the major trophies and finish third in the League of 8, League of 6. To me, that's an excellent season. I'd definitely take that."
Yeah, I agree with that, Shaz, completely. Of course, it wasn't all Dragons this season as people were expected. But yeah, I mean, let's say the tail end of the season sort of is where all like the availability comes into play, because of course you've got half-time holidays, you've got work commitments, you've got speedway commitments during the week, so all those different things come into play this time of year. That time of year. Hence why we started the season sort of towards the tail end of last year, knowing that we had this year right up until the middle part of May to get it all sorted out in terms of the league. But yeah, completely agree. Scorch have had a good season. A couple of results went against them. I think they lost. They lost the first their first home match of the season, ironically against the Dragons, which sort of put them on the back foot to begin with. But they clawed back, and third place. You can't be too different with that. Just to look ahead down to next season and see what happens.
I think as also the Scorchers had probably arguably the result of the season, winning 53-37 at Oxford, which is
Thanks for reminding that, Shad. Thanks for reminding that.
When you look at the Dragons' home form, they won all 5 of their meetings to get beat at home 53-37. That's some effort. So yeah. Scorchers have had a good season. Cowboys, not so much. I mean, we're going to obviously go in depth in later podcasts talking about each team's individuals. I don't want to go too much into it now. I think I'm doing the Scorchers. I'm doing the Scorchers one, I think. So yeah, we'll talk about that in a few weeks' time. Should we look at the league table, Tank? Final league table. There you go. The Dragons finished on 22 points. You look at 22 points. If you look at the points difference, it's not much. That's 32, which backs up my idea that they're not that great. But then, does it mean that most of the teams are quite evenly matched? Do you think there's only 4 points between first and fourth, which is not a lot? Obviously the Cowboys and the Panthers have set a bit adrift. Maybe it's just been a good season. Maybe the draft worked. I know there's a lot of arguments about the draft being corrupted by all the dropouts early in the season and before the season started, and people coming in on different averages higher than the averages that are who replaced. But maybe that's for another time. Talk at the end of the season. Yeah, Spartans brilliantly came up from nowhere to finish on 19 points. Same as the Scorchers. I think their points difference was slightly better. Wolves obviously disappointed with their fourth place, but only 4 points behind the Dragons at the end, which isn't. I think the away form maybe the home form wasn't. They lost one at home, which you can't really afford to lose home meetings in a league this short. Cowboys obviously 5th on 9 points, and the Panthers coming away with 6 points somehow after they had the naught for most of the season. I didn't know where our first point was going to come from. So to finish on 6 points, to the credit to the lads for battling on during the season. Right, this is the easiest ride of the week I'm ever going to have to pick. I'm not even going to bother going through notable mentions. I'm just going to crack on and tell you my final ride of the week for this season. 15-point maximum at home to the champions and silver helmet 2-0 against Stefan. Scotty B.
Well done, Scotty. Well done.
Well done, Scotty. And apologies to Tank. I jumped on a bit there. We will look at the CMAs for the top 20 for this season. Before we go into our break.
Let's go for it.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about the teams so much because so we're going to do the individual teams at the in future podcasts. But looking at that, one rider stands out, doesn't they, Dan?
Is that guy that's on top? Is it?
Yes, our friend.
I gotta say, I mean, this has been one hell of a season. All riders that have been involved need a massive round of applause because you guys have been, you've made the season as it is. Even though we've been down on riders, down on teams, you've all come in and we've all been able to socialise and be on a game that we love doing. Of course, the new tracks, new bikes, new formats, new riders coming in, some coming back in, but it's been great, coming back into it. And, a few surprises there. Obviously, TJ for Somerset when he was everyone's guest to start with. And then he got signed for Spartans. And then Wolfie, I mean, only 4 meetings and he finished on 8.7 average. I mean, it's unheard of. And you got like riders that have got like Owen, Marecki, Cappy, Craig, Limo, Sizzler have all raced like 10 matches each. And then when he finished on like 8 point average, I mean, there's a load of 8-point averages there.
There's a few names there that you don't normally see that low. I mean, looking at Paris, Bobby, Ads, Ryan, especially Ryan. Ryan's always like top 3 or 4.
Ryan was second in the BGP last year, wasn't he?
Just seems very strange. Seems very strange to see like some of these new names. I mean, Rotten gets on there just by riding 1 meeting. And I think that should be binned off. You don't get to be in the top 20 by 1 meeting, surely. I think we should bin that one off. It was cut off at 19. Yeah. Right, after that, we're going to go just pop off for a short couple of minute break. Fill your glasses, empty your bladders, and we'll see you back very, very soon. Welcome back, everyone. I promise I'll stick to the script now. No going Maverick. I hope you filled your glasses and done what you've got to do. First thing we're going to talk about after the break is the final round of the GP and the SCS. We'll start with the GP, which has already been won, as we know, by Stefan. Well, near enough. We've got, I don't believe we've got some changes here, Tank. Can you go through any changes we've got in the GP? Line-up changes?
Yeah. Brendan is in. I'm in for Le Sorcier, who's unavailable, and then I did have this ready.
Sorry. TJ, is he?
Yeah, he's
replacing
permanently
someone?
in.
Oh, he's permanently,
Coming
is he?
for Racer Ryan, who dropped out.
Oh, Wolfie's got to be one, hasn't he? Surely. Wolfie's got to be one of the changes.
Yeah, it's.
Bobby, Wolfie for Bobby, was it?
I think so. Yeah. So
Yeah.
the replacements was Brendan was in for Bobby, and I'm in for Le Sorcier, and I haven't made a note on Wolfie, but he is in for Owen.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So,
Owen and Sizzler are away. Yeah.
and Meraki's in for Sizzler. That's it.
Yeah. This is not the ideal track to have for a final GP SCS. Bit of a tight inside outside circle track. I'm not going to knock it. It is what it is. But just the way the draw was made with the spinny wheel, it just happened to be this one at the end. I mean, there's not that many American. I know it was an American GP, and there's not that many. I don't think there's any decent American tracks on the game, so it is what it is. Dan, do you want to pick out any heats that stand out for you?
Yeah.
Heat 7.
I was about to say Heat 7.
I think Skyrunner's already mentioned.
Yeah, I think it was Heat 18 as well.
Yeah.
In content of the sort of the middle order. But you got to look at Heat 4. I mean, that could be the race that clinches it mathematically for Steph. But he's got like 3 really good riders in there as well. Tank, Powis, and Lofty. Still haven't been asked to be wildcard for the BGP yet. I think I was told it's like a rider over 7 points average will be even going to be eligible for a BGP.
There's no wildcards in the GPs
unless it's replacements. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
But
you've
yeah,
been
this
asked
is
several times, but you've been busy.
Yeah. To be honest, I haven't taken much notice in the individuals. Just been focused on the team, really. Another heat, I would say. Heat 15 looks quite tasty. Powis, Craig.
I think we're looking at qualification, looking at top 8, really, aren't we? That's the big one. You got like 4 riders, or I suppose you go 5 riders. You go down to Fecky, looking at a top 8 qualification. I mean, I'd love to see Lofty. I'd love to see Lofty qualify for next season. He missed the first 2 rounds. He only got called in for round 3. I mean, he's been, although his average has dropped a little bit significantly this season, he's been practicing near enough in every practice server we've done. He's been available for most of the season, almost all of the season, and he's always in fun servers. He's really sort of like taken back to the game and taking it by the scruff of the neck. I'd love to see Lofty finish in the top 8. I think little practice I've done. I mean, I think I've practiced less for this GP than any other GP this season. Just not for me. I don't think any sort of practice is going to do me any good, especially when you've got 7 in a server around here. It's just ridiculous. There's no racing room at all. Maybe different on the night with just 4 in a server. We'll see. But yeah, I'd like to see Lofty. I think the top 6, obviously the top 6, I think are pretty much done and dusted. 4, I think, will be okay here, unless he has a disaster of a night. Like to see Lofty, obviously. Bobby's missing, so he's obviously not going to make it. 101 is another one who could do pretty well here on the night. But I think the top 7 top 6, maybe top 7 are okay. I believe the top 8 is what you're going to see finish as the top 8. Hank, what do you think?
Yeah, I do tend to agree. I can't, and that top 7, no questions. I think that is what it is. I think if Lofty just needs just to get to the semi-finals, and I think that will be enough to obviously make sure he's got the last spot. Obviously Bobby not riding obviously puts him out of contention for getting in. I mean you've not got double figures yourself this season, but you only need a bit of luck on the night, and who knows?
Yeah, a lot of luck on the night.
101 can have a good meeting and he can get to the final. I mean,
yeah, 101's the one I'm thinking of who could possibly sneak in.
But then Meraki, I mean, 214 scores, and that if he goes again, yeah, I mean, it could end up being quite tight, and then then there'll be a headache of who's actually finished 8th.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, assuming that everyone in the top 8 races next season, you don't know how many of those. I mean, how many of those are going to be around next season? So you could get. I don't know how it works. You could get people sneaking into. Does it? If any of the top 8 pull out next season, does 9th and 10th get considered, or does it go on the qualification?
If someone pulls out before the qualifiers, then it will go on season 20. So if anyone pulls out before the qualifiers, it's them that goes in. After that, once the qualifiers has happened, it will go on the qualifiers.
Right. So, okay, that's cleared that up. Yeah, as long as they're know before the start.
Yeah, the same for the SCS. So
yes, there's going to be a bit of a lottery this track. I mean, obviously I think gate 1's going to be a bit problematic because you've really got to turn early to get inside here. There's not a lot of distance between the start and the first bend. I think you're going to get a few crossings in this meeting. There was certainly a lot in the practice. So yeah, I think we're going to see maybe a few people in the grass, and I think getting out of the grass might be a bit problematic as well because you could easily get lapped before you even try and get out of the grass. We're talking about 26-second meet races here. They're very quick. SCS, which is a bit more exciting. Obviously, you've got Scotty and Cam going for the title. The top 3, I believe, are pretty much safe. I think JC could have a shout. But no, you're looking at Cam and Scott. It's going to be the Cam and Scotty show with Jan maybe being the bridesmaid. So we're going to have a look at this because I've got a few. I've done a bit of searching, look through previous rounds, and we're going to talk about the elephant in the room, which is the Rico Cam situation, sharing a laptop, which you've gone over before, and we haven't really resolved anything.
It's been every week.
Yeah, but I've looked through the previous rounds. Right, first round at Edsberg, Cam and Rico actually steered the laptop, and in the race they raced together on the same laptop. And didn't finish the race, and Rico finished third. So in round 2, they'd been that. Rico gave up his place in the race with Cam in Heat 14 and didn't do anything about it and just got the 3rd place. He just got the point. But then it gets interesting. Round 3 at Big Gosh, Heat 14, Rico gave up his place in the race. 3 riders, and only 2 riders in that race because Lango hadn't turned up for the meeting, and Cam won it with only 2 riders. Round 4 at Corso, Heat 6, Rico gave up his place again for Cam. Cam won it, 3 points. Round 5, Heat 17, Rico gave up his place again. Cam won it. Last round, Bahia Blanca, Heat 18, Rico gave up his place. Cam won it. So as you can see, the scores at the top of the leaderboard, which we'll look at later, with Scotty and Cam being on the same points, a little bit corrupted because Cam seems to get a lot of 3-rider races. Maybe something will have to be sorted for next season.
I would say it's more controversial. I'd say it's more controversial than what you said there, Shads.
Yeah. Well, that's just my observations. I think it's unsustainable, really, for people to pull out of a race because there's only one laptop, and then that rider gets a win where he could have had a second. I mean, who knows? You might have won the race anyway with 4 riders, but I don't think it's sustainable. But I don't know. So I'll leave it up to everyone else to decide, and obviously the committee have got to make the final decision on that. The Tank, what are your thoughts on this one? You're obviously are you in this meeting? You are, aren't you?
No, I'm in the BG.
No, you're not. You're in the other one, aren't you?
Yeah.
Right. So,
and obviously we have 2 changes for this round, with Speedy coming in for Hutty and Tintin coming in for Bewitcher. And that, but it'll be an interesting meeting, and I think it was like you say with Cam Rico, that's a hot topic, well documented, so that's one to look on going forward after some time of it being that way. But I know there's been words been said, but as for the meeting itself, it's looking, it could be interesting. I like the look of Heat 7 could be interesting. Because I mean, nothing on it for Speedy, but then you've got Heffel who will mix it up, and Ben is, he'll be dialed in, and had when he's dialed in, you know what I mean. So that would be my pick of the meeting. You could probably see a shock winner this round potentially as well. Who that is?
Absolutely.
I couldn't put my finger on who it would be though.
No, absolutely. There's quite a few candidates for me. Obviously, everyone's thinking Cam and Scotty, but then JC, Hadlington, he looked pretty good in the practice I saw. It could be any one of those, couldn't it? Get to a semi-final, get a decent gate pick, get a decent gate, and then just hold on for dear life for 25 seconds and see how it goes. Did we look at the GP standings? We didn't look at them, did we?
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
they were on screen. Yeah.
Right. We'll look at the SCS standings, which are a bit more exciting. As you see, Cam and Scotty are on the top with 83 points. Cam had a slightly disappointing round last time out, which allowed Scotty to pull up level. Ken obviously missed the last round. I believe he's in this one, so he'll be going. I mean, he's only 6 points behind, which is nothing really. You get to a semi-final, get to a final, get a couple of points in the final, maybe. The other 2 don't make it, you can still win it. Any one of those 3. I think Scotty's. I think JC's a bit too far away to win it. He could easily jump into second or third place. Paddington's had a great last couple of rounds, points for him. Obviously, Caney's just 3 rounds, so he was one of my favourites to win it this season. Actually, Dan, what do you think?
Yeah, I completely agree with that. There, Shads. With Cam and Scotty being like on level points, going to this last one, it's going to be down to when they face off. And then of course you've got the whole Cam and Rico saga in Heat 19, I believe it is on Sunday.
Yeah, Heat 10 is the one we're looking at.
Is that when they face? Yeah.
That's Cam and Scotty. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, say both of them have a good couple of first races. It could be whoever wins that race becomes champion.
Yeah. Yeah. That'll be their third race, won't it? And then
of course, then you got the semi-finals and the final as well.
Cam gets a 3-rider race in Heat 19.
Yeah.
Presuming everyone's in.
So the with the BLRC, it's the top 2 from each of the 16 plus the 4 highest, and for the Reserve Riders Championship, it's again the same. The bottom 2, that's the 7th and 8th riders, and then it's the 4 lowest riders in each one. And after much debate, they're both going to be on Sunday the 8th of June, because it was deemed it might be best to it was best that because teams would want to train together and do it same rather than have them on separate nights. So so they're both on Sunday the 8th of June, and the riders for the British League Riders Championship is for the Wolves. It's Owen and Sizzler. For Dragons, it's Stefan and Stephen 101. Cowboys is Fejki and Craig. For Scorchers, Miraki and Limo. Panthers, it's Cappy and Scotty B. And for Spartans, it's TJ and Wolfie, with the next 4 highest being Brendan Hart and Racer Ryan from Spartans, and then it's Ads and Powers from Wolves. So that's how the BLRC looks like. So there's 4 Spartans.
Is that right? That Craig's missing this in these. Danny said Craig's doing stuff with Speedway.
Yeah, potentially me, Lofty, and Craig are going to be absent from this. Depends if we get back from Southampton in time, because we do have a Cycle Speedway event taking place on that Sunday, where hopefully we're going to have another dragon in the area, because I believe that Craigie Harold could be making an appearance down there too. So get a chance to meet him. But yeah, Craig, myself, and Lofty are potential absentees from this. All depends if we get back in time.
This is at Wembley, isn't it? Wembley night.
Wembley night, yes.
Wembley night. Okay. Yeah, interesting. Obviously, Stefan's the favourite, as he always is in these individual competitions. But interesting. Skyrider goes for Marecki. Possible. I think 101 maybe for me. I have a decent meeting. Whether he'll make the podium, I think he'll make the podium, but I don't think he'll win it. Lofty goes for Cappy. Good shout. Cappy's had a tremendous season. Absolutely tremendous season for the Panthers. Brilliant this season.
I'm gonna go for nothing against me Spartans teammates, but I'm personally gonna go for Scotty B, because he's been in a bit of form recently, and with the maximum and also getting the silver helmet, I think riding on the crest of a wave, and I just feel this is one meeting he's just gonna come out of nowhere in some respects, but carry on that form.
He's finished the season very well, and if he wins the SCS, then that'll give him lots of confidence going into this one.
Yeah.
Right, the Reserve Riders
We've
Championship.
got the draw.
Oh, the draw. Go for the draw then. Got your little spinny wheel ready?
Yep.
Oh, here we go. Now we don't know exactly who's going to be in this. I mean, there might be riders that can't make it on the night, so this will be a draw for whoever's going to replace them as well. We're going to have people coming in. Obviously, is it the third Limo in the inside gate in Heat 1? Does the riders next in the team, third in the averages, replace the one who drops out?
Yes. Correct. Yeah.
It does,
So
right, okay.
it'll go down until 2 in each team, and then
Right,
if you go through
okay.
the team,
And
it
Paris,
goes to the highest.
number 2.
It's also worth noting that it's 20 heats. The top 2 make it to the final, and then 3rd to 6th go into a semi-final with the top 2 joining the top.
Gotcha. Right. Race to Ryan, third in Heat 1. We're looking like a great Heat 1. And Fecky makes up the first heat. Got Limo, Paris, Race to Ryan, and Fecky in Heat 1. That's Panthers number 2, Scotty B, in Heat 2. It's going to be with Scotty in Heat 2. TJ Griffiths, TJ in Heat 2 with Scotty B. TJ finishing top of the averages for the Spartans this season. Albeit only a few meetings, but still a good effort. And Mareki from the Scorchers joins Scotty B and TJ Griffith in the second heat. I'm not surprised, Sky Rider. It doesn't surprise me at all. And they will be joined by Ads. Scotty B, TJ Griffiths, Mareki and Ads. That's the track in Heat 2. Right, we're halfway through the draw now. The 9th rider out. Craig of the All Cowboys in Heat 3. And he will be joined by young Owen, young Wolf. Craig and Owen in Heat 3. Everyone's back for Sizzler now. And Cappy takes his place in Heat 3 with Craig and Owen. The chance for Sizzler to get in this heat. Thankfully, they've got separate laptops, so there won't be any issues here. And it's Brendan Hart. Brendan Hart of the Spartans.
Oh, I feel bad for Wolfie in this one.
Well, get the hardest heat out of the way. Hey, you wouldn't want this as your final heat. Needing points to get into the semi-final, would you?
Yeah.
And Sizzler in Heat 4. His first ride will be in Heat 4. 2 dragons, a wolf, and a Judas. I wonder which one's which. Here we go. Dragons number 2 this season, Stephen 101, my dark horse. Actually had a very good season. No complaints. He's missed a couple at the start of the season, but no, he's maintained his average pretty well this season. Wolfie goes in as third rider in Heat 4. which leaves the current average leader in the league, Stefan, will be the final rider out off the wheel, taking his place in Heat 4 with Sizzler. Steve might have won on Walker. Yeah, he got a feel for Walker in this one. But he could go out and win it. You don't know. Right, so let's look at the scorecard. Have a little look through there, boys, and tell me what you think. What stands out for you?
Heat 15's quite tasty for me.
Yeah.
Steph, Ryan, Owen, and Scotty.
Absolutely. Explain again. You said, Stephen, the top 2 go into the final, and then the next 4 go into a semi-final.
Yeah.
Obviously, the 2 winners game. Okay, so you've got to finish first and second to get an automatic place in the final. Okay, and that's same for both competitions, yeah.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
It's just very simple. Just don't finish last.
Yeah, so it's pretty much like the British League Riders Championship in Middle Speedway, like the Championship. Riders Championship, like the top 2 go straight through. So the other ones have an extra heat. Okay, that's interesting. Have a look down the score chart. Yeah, I think you're right. Heat 15 looks like the pick of the night for me. Depending on what's happened before that. I mean, obviously, if someone's had a really bad night, they're not gonna make the semi-final. I just don't know. Every race looks good to me. Every race looks like it could be a cracker.
Heat 18
on a proper track as well. Heat 18. Craig, Paris, Marecki, Stefan, crikey, yeah. Every race has got something. Every race has got something in it. I'm not even sure what the gate situation is like here. What's the best gate at Wembley? I think it's a pretty much a racing track. It's none of these diddy little circles, so I think we're going to be okay. Right, do you want to jump on to the next one? Right, the Reserve Riders Championship. This is subject to the confirmation for the riders involved. The 2 Wolves riders, the Badger and the Storcier, Craigie Hurl and Chester from the Dragons. Obviously, Chester, you said you don't know if you're going to make it in time, but it'd be great to see you actually racing this one. You've not done many non-league, non-team meetings, so it'd be nice to see you in an individual. Hobnob and Ivy. Ivy gets in, even though she's only ridden 2 meetings this season. That's for the Cowboys. Tintin and Allen for the Sculptors. Ben Thompson Hutty for the Panthers. Stephen and Method for the Spartans. And then you got Pompey, Capesy, Rico, and Heppel on standby. We're not sure if they're going to get into. They might get in, so they'll be the top. They'll be the ones that are in for the highest 4. But obviously, we don't know who's going to be available or not for the top 12 to get the 3rd rider, the 3rd lowest in each team, which I'm not sure who is in our one. I think it's Ben. Is it Capesy? I think Capesy's next.
Well, if it's reserve, it's going to be Osby Score, wouldn't it?
I think it might be Score. It could be, yeah. Which would be a bit of a weird one, the way he's performed this season. Right, should we look at the spreadsheet? We got to do right, here we go. And this is going to be an interesting draw because obviously we don't know how many of these are going to be actually riding.
Oh, would you look at that?
Oh, wow, straight up. You could have done with being in Heat 4, couldn't you, Chester?
You cannot predict that, could you?
Oh man, that's gonna handicap you, isn't it?
Oh, brilliant! And it gets worse.
And joined by a tank in. Wow.
Oh, and
Wow.
all four back.
Yeah, all right. This will be Ben Thompson.
We
then,
need
won't it?
McNally and Ben Thompson now. McNally and Ben Thompson.
You need Ben Thompson to make it. Oh no, it's tinted.
Ah.
Spin it again. Spin it again. Right, so you got Esther, Tank, and Tintin in Heat 1, who will be joined by
That's me third in Heat 1. Well, I'd say fourth in Heat 1 now.
Method. You haven't even seen the track yet, Dan. You might like it, might suit you. Right, Heat 2. First race in Heat 2. Craigie Hurl. Craigie Hurl will be in Heat 2. Craigie will be joined by Rico. Rico will be in Heat 2 with Craigie Hurl. Third rider out. Heppel. Heppel's a couple of dragons in this heat. Craigie and Heppel with Rico. Let's have a hobnob. Oh, not fixed at all.
What's the numbers for tomorrow night? Yes.
If I knew that, I wouldn't tell you. I don't want to share. Right, Heat 3. Badger Racing in Heat 3. Chester, Stephen, Tintin, Method Heat 1. Craigie Hurl, Rico, Heppel, Hobnob Heat 2. Second rider in Heat 3. Ivy Rose. Badger and Ivy will be joined by the Saucier in Heat 3.
That's going to be the only time you'll see number 1 by my name in any season.
Ben Thompson makes up the Heat 3. Badger Racing, Ivy Rose, the Saucier, and Ben Thompson in Heat 3. Right. Final 4 now. Hutty. Philfield Panthers Hutty in Heat 4. Depends on the order. Always the Panthers captain Capesy in Heat 4. And Alan McNally is in third spot in Heat 4. They've got Hutty, Capesy, Alan McNally, and obviously Pompey. A really interesting lineup. I think this is a lot more open than the main Riders Championship. You could make a case for 4 or 5 riders here. Dan, what are you thinking, mate?
Oh dear. Well, depending if I'm back in time from my cycling, and I make it back in time. Yeah, some very interesting races there. I think Heat 17 for me is quite an interesting one because I know full well if Alan beats me, he's not going to go on. He's going to keep on about it over and over and over again. Just got to put
Alan.
Just got to put 5 rides together. Make sure I'm not in any like sort of last places, and yeah, try and qualify. I mean, there are a few.
Let's hope you can make it.
I hope so too.
Obviously, Stephen's in this one as well. Tank.
I think. Yeah, go on, Chad.
Tank, what are you thinking?
It's gonna be an interesting one.
Heat 1 will be.
Well, it would, yeah. Could be a Spartans 5-1.
You should have no problem. You should have no problems with that Heat, Tank. That should be yours, mate.
Yeah, it should be, but then anything can happen. Anything can happen.
He's putting pressure on you already, Tank.
Yeah, I don't buckle under pressure, and what will be will be. But no, even though it's quite late in the meeting, for me, if I was to look at a heat without me in it, I say heat 19 could be an interesting one. Yeah, I think this could be tighter than the BLRC potentially. Sure.
Yeah, it will be. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, looking at, excuse me, people like yourself, Heppel's very capable of stringing a few good races together. Obviously, the Source hasn't had the greatest season, but he can shine in these.
He turns.
Then I fancy Catesy to have a good meeting in this. Not putting too much pressure on him, but I feel like Catesy's due a good one.
Yeah. I think Ben would be up there, thereabouts.
Yeah. I'd like to see a Panther win an individual this season, be it the SCS or this.
I potentially could see Panthers do it in both, potentially.
Could be. Squall Max. Squall's not in it, is he? Or he could be.
All depends if I can't make it.
You got to make sure you make it, Chester. We don't want Squall winning it.
I got to make sure. Yeah, I got to make sure.
Yeah, make sure you make it.
I'll have to say to my minibus driver, just go. Just no, don't run the traffic. Just go.
We don't have a referee yet, do we? So we don't know if you could maybe delay it a little bit just to get you in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm hoping to get back in time for this. See how it goes, really. No, see how it goes.
Yeah. I'll be watching, hearing you all on. Nice to
it all depends if Craig goes on Sunday, and then we'll have a team going in.
What time does your meeting start?
It's normally 2:00, but because there's an individual format and a team event as well, it's going to be a longer day. There's like 2 matches we take part in.
You're looking at about,
and the Gold Cup is 2.5, 3. Stopping halfway for a pee break.
Oh dear, gonna be tight.
Yeah, is Lofty still in there? Lofty's gone. The team was gonna be me, Lofty, and Craig all in the same team. So,
right.
A Panther, a Cowboy, and a Dragon racing for one team. So,
well, at least you won't have to put Craig into the fence this time.
We'll soon see.
Right. Any more business, gentlemen?
No, I think only next week's show.
We're looking at next week's show. We've got the final Grand Prix and SCS review and looking at the leaderboards and talking about who won it. I think it'll be an interesting one, the SCS. I think we already know who's won the GP, but be interesting. I'm not sure if are we doing a ride of the week next week? I suppose we could do, maybe for the last one.
Yeah, I'd say so.
We're looking at the BLRC and the Reserve Rider Championship previews. And we started our season reviews with the Panthers and the Cowboys. I'm not sure who's doing who, but I'm sure that'll be sorted. Before
yours truly is doing the Panthers review.
Okay, so you don't leave it to the last minute.
I try not to.
Give Tank a chance to do the graphics and stuff. So let's wrap up tonight by saying thank you to everyone for listening. Thanks to Dan for not sniffing too much through that. And
thanks,
for the
Chad,
excellent production. Yeah, it's a bit last minute. I was called in last minute by Dan, who didn't feel too great. So apologies if I've made any mistakes, and I know I have. Thanks to Tank for the producing, and great job as usual. I think Hads will be back next week, and there'll be the three amigos back in tow. So you can all take the mickey out of me, Hads, and Dan. Don't
forget the YouTube post will be tomorrow at 8:00.
Yes,
well,
exactly. Without further ado, it's time for me to empty my bladder, and I'll catch you all next week. Good night, all.